Joining me on the news to discuss this further is a lawyer from Rivers State, Eugene Odey. Hello, Eugene. Thank you so much for joining me at this time. Hello,
Thank you
Eugene.
for having me. A pleasure anytime.
It's a pleasure. All right. Considering the circumstances surrounding the election of Victor Oko-Jumbo as Speaker, what avenues are available for verifying the legitimacy of his appointment and also addressing any concerns regarding the validity of the process?
Now, don't forget that the House of Assembly of a state, Rivers State House of Assembly, is a creation of the Constitution. And the Constitution itself also provides the modus operandi of the House of Assembly. The House of Assembly is created principally to make laws for good governance. And you will agree with me that the crisis that have brought the Rivers State House of Assembly has thrown so much, a lot to be desired. From October last year, when the 27 lawmakers who were formerly members of PDP defected into the House to the APC, which ultimately meant by the construction of the Constitution, particularly Section 109, subsection 1, paragraph G, which states that where a member has been elected into the House of Assembly by a political party and defects from that sponsoring political party to another political party during that tenure, he vacates that office by reason of that defection, provided always that there is no division in the party and that there is no merger in the party and that there is no faction that merge with another political party. Those provisos notwithstanding, that if a member defects from the House of Assembly, having been sponsored by another political party and defects to another political party, he ceases to be a member of that political party. So effectively from October last year, when these 27 lawmakers defected from their sponsoring political party, the PDP, they ceased to become members of the House of Assembly of Rivers State, meaning that if those 27 members have vacated their seats, the remainder now forms the new House of Assembly. And if you remember also, that very last year, a new speaker emerged after that defection in the person of Edison Ehe. And he held forth until there was an intervention, in quotes, political intervention by the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, where he summoned all parties to Aso Rock, and they reached a compromise, in quotes, where it was stated that the 27 lawmakers should remain as members of the House of Assembly and that the status quo should be maintained. The commissioners should go back to their offices, and then that all matters in court should be withdrawn, and so on and so forth. Now, that resolution that was passed at Aso Rock has become subject of a plethora of litigation raging in several courts in the country, from Rivers State here and as far as Abuja.
Okay.
That issue has generated a lot of legal debates in the law courts. Now, but what is imperative is that when Edison Ehe took over as the Speaker of the House, he declared constitutionally, he declared those seats vacant. And that declaration of the vacancies was also communicated to INEC, meaning that the process of conducting a by-election to fill those vacancies had been activated. So that is where things were up until now.
All right. Talking about, you've actually explained quite a lot, and it's no gain saying that this crisis has actually dragged for quite a long time. But then let's go back to Governor Fubara's, visit. Can his visit or his unscheduled visit to the Assembly quarters be interpreted as an infringement upon the separation of powers doctrine, given the independence of the legislative branch from the executive interference?
He did not visit the plenary uninvited. He visited the Assembly complex. Sorry, not the Assembly complex, the quarters. The quarters built by taxpayers' money, which is superintended by the governor himself. So you cannot interpret that to be an infringement on anybody's statutory rights. Don't also forget that these 27 lawmakers, in the eyes of the law, no longer exist as lawmakers. All right? And the governor, if you've listened to the governor in the past few days, he has started aligning himself with the constitution instead of the political solutions, which is now being challenged in court. The governor himself is also respondent in most of those cases where lawyers are praying that the court should restrain this governor from recognizing those 27 lawmakers. So he himself, he has had lawyers represent him in court to state his own position on this issue. But I believe that he has started realizing that the Constitution is the supreme lex, is the supreme law from which even he himself derives his power as a governor.
Of course.
And if he decides to go back to the Constitution, he is in the right path. So he has been saying that he doesn't want to recognize those 27 lawmakers anymore. He's well within his power, and he's
talking about the governor's powers still. How do you think the recent political crisis, not really recent, but how do you think the crisis within the Rivers State House of Assembly, affects the state's governance and the rule of law, particularly in terms of, legislative decision making and public confidence in the political system?
Now, the Constitution also stated that nobody who is not a member of the House of Assembly can participate in lawmaking process in the state. In fact, it's even a criminal. It's even criminal. It's criminal. So if anybody has been carrying on business as a legislator when he's not, that person is actually committing an offense for which he can be tried and actually imprisoned. Okay, that's aside. But we can say for sure that indeed, I have always been wondering how the governor has been faring all this while when we know that the House of Assembly he had been reckoning with was not actually a House of Assembly recognized in law. So the question is that their activities, their resolutions, their laws, the laws they've passed, are those laws binding? I'm also aware that some of those laws that were passed by those 27 lawmakers did not enjoy the assent of the governor. So what happens to those laws? I hear that they also overrode his veto. Question is that do they have the power to even make laws? Not to talk of overriding the veto of the governor. Now, you're also aware that some commissioners have left, and there's need to replace those commissioners. Question I've always been asking, how is he going to appoint those commissioners without a valid House of Assembly? Okay, because he has to present the names for screening, and so many activities of government that depends on the functions of the legislature. How will the governor be able to carry on without a valid functional House of Assembly? So those questions are the questions that have been answered by the emergence of this new speaker who was just elected yesterday, a few hours ago. Now that we have a new speaker, we have 3 members of the House of Assembly to carry on legislative business for the state, to help the governor to move this state forward. We believe that all will be settled in due course politically.
All right. Now, just before we let you go, Eugene, what role does the legal principle of transparency, accountability, and due process play in ensuring the legitimacy and effectiveness of government actions and decisions, especially in situations involving political tensions and institutional disputes?
Now, any action that is outside the governing principle, which is the Constitution, okay, will definitely suffer the issue of legitimacy. Now, like I said, the Constitution is the supreme lex, is the supreme law that binds and governs the activities of government and governance. Now, every activity of government that is outside the provisions of the Constitution, it's not legitimate and cannot receive any constitutional backing. It will fall if tested through judicial process. So, and that's why I kept on saying that the governor should always hide himself under the provisions of the Constitution, and he will be protected. And any action taken by any member of the House of Assembly that's in line with the provisions of the Constitution will be valid and will be protected at the end of the day. Now, there's an issue of quorum, whether these 3 lawmakers can validly form a quorum to pilot the affairs of the legislature in Rivers State? My answer is an emphatic yes. Because if we look at section 96 of the Constitution, particularly subsection 1, it says that the quorum shall be 1/3 of all, I'm emphasizing the word all in capital letters, all. It didn't say 1/3 of 20 or 1/3 of a specific number. It says 1/3 of all. The question is that how many constitute all now in Rivers State? The answer is 3. Now, as these 3 members have sat and decided to elect a speaker, every action that they are taking hereinafter is recognized and valid and binding.